Hello everyone. This summer, the summer of scares, 2024 is going to be a banging year. I've already read a bunch of books that are coming out this summer, books that are going to frighten you, books that are going to make you sweat even if you're sitting in an air-conditioned office. These ones are good. And I got two books that are coming out really soon to kick things off I'm going to tell you about, and then one book today that is already out that you definitely do not want to miss. Took me completely by surprise. And as a reminder, I have horror books for sale, and if you want to purchase any of my books for $1 each, I'll leave a link down below where you can do that. You can check out my Patreon if you want to help support the channel, and you can always buy my Read More Horror t-shirt. There's a link down below for that as well. All right, let's get started. So the first book is a new one from Ronald Malfi. Now, you know, I'm a huge Malfi fan. It's an automatic read for me whenever he's got something new coming out. So it's no surprise I like this one. It's coming out next month, less than a month from now. And I will leave a pre-order link for all these books in the description. But this one, in case you're wondering what it's about, is called Small Town Horror. So you can kind of figure it out from the title. This is an expertly done small town horror. If that's your thing, you are absolutely going to love this book. It's about a bunch of friends, and when they were kids, they were all gathered together somewhere in their town along with another kid, and something tragic happened. It was an accident, but this group were responsible for what happened to this other kid. They cleaned up the scene as best they could and covered their tracks, and they thought they got away with it, even though this is something that is going to haunt them for the rest of their days. But one person they didn't elude was this kid's mother. Their mother has a reputation of being the witch in this town. You know, every town has that old creepy old lady who lives in the mansion. You never see her. And in this case, it was the mother, her son, and her daughter at the time. And the mother knows somehow. She knows who exactly is responsible for what happened, and she puts a curse on all of them. Now, 20 years later, they're reuniting in this town, coming together again for the first time since that accident. And even though their lives have all taken different paths, some of them more sad and tragic than others, the fact is, it doesn't really seem to be a curse. But now that they're all together back in this town, they're going to find out some things. First, they might not be able to leave. And second, the curse is in full effect. And they're going to be fighting for their lives, and not a whole of them will make it. Now, the thing about this book is throughout this horrifying narrative, there are going to be secrets revealed, especially one concerning the wife of one of our characters, who seems to be a minor character at first. I love that. When I got to that chapter where something was revealed, it was a very short chapter. I remember putting the book down and just going, oh my God, this is going to change the narrative from here on forward. That came out of the blue. I was not expecting what I read, and I had to actually put the book down, so I had to process it, you know, in my old man brain there. Oh, it was great though. It was wonderful. Yes, you are absolutely going to love it. It's terrifying. It's full of surprises. And it's written in that good old Ronald Malfi style. And as I said, there is a pre-order link down below where you can order your copy. And next we have a book called Bury Your Gaze. And this is the newest one from Chuck Tingle. And this one is great. Simply fantastic. A lot of fun to read. This is about a director who's finally made it in Hollywood. You know, the 1 in 1 million success story. He's so successful, he's actually nominated for an Oscar this year. He also has a very successful show on Netflix featuring many gay characters. He's kind of an icon for the gay community. They absolutely love this show. But even though he's been nominated for an Oscar, there are people behind the scenes who run these things and can sometimes run them into the ground. And he finds himself in a position where they want him in this season of his show to kill all of his gay characters, which he finds horrifying and absolutely unacceptable, because that's what made him famous. That is what got him his following. And he doesn't know how people are going to feel. But of course, the people behind the scenes are saying things like, well, you have to kill it because the algorithm says this is going to be great. We're going to make much more money. Everybody's going to get a little bit richer if you do this. It's going to be the most successful season ever. But he is very much against it, but he feels like there's nothing he can do, because even though he's the showrunner and the director, he really doesn't have much power over the people behind the scenes. And we're going to find out exactly what's happening behind the scenes later in the book, and that's something you got to watch out for. But in the meantime, we find out that he got his foot in Hollywood by directing for another person. He was directing these like B horror movies, like really gross creature-driven B horror movies, as a way to get his foot in the door in Hollywood. So now, as the Oscars are approaching and he's having a meltdown over what they want to do to his show, these creatures from these movies he used to direct seem to be coming to life and haunting him. Not only haunting him, but killing in horrible ways people he knows, his acquaintances, his friends. People start dying around him from these monsters and creatures that he used to direct when he was just starting out in Hollywood. And throughout this novel, we're going to see this man kind of become unraveled at everything that's happening, to the point where the Oscars are the least amount of his worries. He doesn't, that's like no big deal to him anymore, because he's got all these other things to deal with, and he's got to find out exactly what's going on, because he doesn't want to see any more of his friends die or any of his acquaintances. And it just gets more horrific and more horrific as he starts breaking down and melting down. And and you're going to have to read about the conclusion, because like I said, it has secrets about the secret mechanisms behind the scenes of Hollywood in there, told in, of course, a terrifying way, as this author usually does. And oh man, it's just fantastic. This one's a lot of fun. Great characters throughout. You can feel this man's pain at having to do something he really doesn't want to do, but really having no choice. And in a year that should be his most successful, he just feels trapped and bound. And then when the horrifying things start happening with these monsters, it just adds that extra layer. This book is fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I highly recommend it. And again, there is a pre-order link coming out in July. And there's a pre-order link in the description. And next we have The One. Now, this book actually came out in 2016, and doing a little bit of research on it, I found out that it was actually a Netflix series. Yeah, I did not know that. I haven't seen any of them. I always think the book is better anyway, but I can't really make that comparison because I didn't see the series. But this book is amazing. It's an amazing, dark, psychological horror story. It's set in the near future, where scientists have discovered a strand of DNA that every person has. But this particular hidden strand that they just discovered is unique to only 2 people on the face of the earth. Only 2 have this unique identifier, and they're all different from each other except for these 2 people. And scientifically and biologically, they can prove that the person you share this unique strand of DNA with is your soulmate. So in the world of dating, where there's all these apps and it's hit or miss and blind dates and awkward situations, they found a way basically to eliminate that, because the person you're matched with is your soulmate. And it has an over like a 95% success rate. People meet their soulmate for the first time, and it's like love at first sight, fireworks, explosions, things like that. But one of the scientists that discovered it decided to open a DNA testing company, and is very, very successful. She is very, very rich, and people can take a DNA test, submit it to their database, and if and when your unique other person that has this strand of DNA does so, they will match you, and then you pay a little fee to get their information, phone number, email, and you will meet the person you were scientifically destined to be with. Of course, things are going to go wrong, because there's a lot of things in there that could go wrong. And we're going to see stories from different couples where things go horribly, horribly wrong. I mean, a psychopathic serial killer that is matched with a sergeant detective in a precinct where he killed one of his victims, and she will, as she gets to know him and feels like they have that connection because they're a match, she'll give him details about what's going on in the investigation that he just gets off on because he's sitting right in front of her. She has no idea because he's very good at what he does and hiding his activities. And that's not going to end well, trust me. And then there's another one about a woman she finally matches up with somebody, but he supposedly dies before she gets a chance to actually meet him. All she has is pictures and different memories from his Facebook that people who knew him in real life were posting. And she's distraught because she feels like she knows him, she feels like she loves him, even though they never met, never talked. And she goes to meet his family, and come to find out he knew he was going to die, and so he donated some sperm to a sperm bank, and now they want her to use that to have his child sort of as a remembrance of him, to keep his dream going, because they say he always wanted kids. And because she's the match, yeah, why not? It seems perfect. What you would have done if he were alive, you're just doing it now that he's deceased, that kind of thing. But the story is freaky, and it's not going to end well neither. And there are several other stories in here. I really like the way this book was written. One chapter is about one couple, and then it'll leave it on a little cliffhanger where it'll go to the next couple, and all of their stories are told in intermittent chapters, and there's a whole bunch of them. I absolutely love that. I know it's not for everybody, but I actually love that style. It worked well in this book. Things are going to get dark. Even the ones that have kind of a happier ending, things are going to be dark along the way. Like, they're going to go through some horrifying things to get for that little bit of happiness, and you'll have to read all about it. Yeah, I'm really glad I picked this one up when it was recommended to me. I highly recommend it to you, and you can find your copy at the link in the description. And as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time and spending it here with me. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.